Hey everyone, this is the commentary for the week 2 max out day, and everything went phenomenal. Everything went just about as well as I could have hoped, other than hitting a new PR, but I got pretty darn close to it for both the clean and jerk and the snatch. If you're looking this at YouTube, you'll see the 135 snatch I didn't get because my battery died, but other than that, camera worked really well too, so everything went quite nicely. For snatches, I was able to go up to 215 pounds, and I failed that the first time. It wasn't really that bad of an attempt, I just didn't catch it as perfectly as I would need to be able to stabilize it and then stand up with it. When I did it on the second attempt, I was able to get it up, and I was very happy with how snatches felt today. Compared to last week, my best snatch I was able to get was 180. I failed 195, I believe, twice, and so I had to stop there last week. But this one, I was successful all the way up to that 215 where I failed it the first time, then got it the second time. I had a couple reps that weren't perfect on the way up, but generally, like, just everything felt really snappy and quick today, which is really nice. I think the work that I did yesterday with trying to get my wrist to turn over faster and using the cues to wait a bit longer definitely helped on the snatches. Moving on to clean and jerks, I was able to go up to 285 pounds today. It wasn't the prettiest jerk as far as arms being locked out and stuff, but considering my best clean and jerk is 290, I'm extremely happy that I was able to do that. And I had one random miss with 245 when I was doing the clean, and it landed on my shoulder. It just slipped right down, and so I couldn't really fight the weight up, seeing how like the one side just slipped off my shoulder entirely. And I didn't have my shirt chalked at that time, so I chalked it up, went up to 255, and everything went well with 255, 265, 275, and 285. One thing you'll notice that if you're watching the video of this is I made very small jumps, and I took a lot more attempts with both the snatches and the clean and jerks, and I found that's something that I probably will continue to do with these max out days in order to get just more work in general, and also to really try to hone in my technique before I go to heavier weights. It's just really worked extremely well this week, and both the list felt really good. So that's exciting. But if I would have a miss like that 245, I don't know. That was such a random miss, and it wasn't even really one since it slipped down my shirt. It wasn't really a technique thing, although I'm sure I could have waited a bit more. Still going to continue with that rule where I get one miss and then I can repeat that same weight. Obviously, if there's some weird thing like on that 245, didn't want to go up to that 295 based on how the jerk looked on that 285. I had a feeling that I probably would have been able to clean 295, but I definitely would have really struggled on the jerk. It would have been a pretty miraculous thing to get it, and I wanted to end on a good note, and that 285 was 20 pounds more than I was able to do last week. So ended on that note, then went on to do some clean deadlifts, went up to 405 pounds for 3 sets of 3. I decided not to do an AMRAP. I think on the Saturdays I'm going to make these a clean deadlift days, and then on the Mondays make that, instead of a clean deadlift, make it a clean pull. So then I'll have a day where I'm doing clean pulls, a day where I'm doing snatch pulls, and then on the Saturday after maxes I'm doing some clean deadlifts. So we'll see how that continues, and here, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see that that's the miss that I have there. The reason why I keep saying if you see this on YouTube or not, I'm going to put the audio on my podcast as well. Seeing how I'm recording this for YouTube mostly, there's no reason I can't reuse the audio for that, since I'm talking about my workouts and stuff, and I do that at times on there anyway. No reason to repeat what I'm talking about here when I can just put the same thing on there. Anywho, after I did the clean deadlifts, I went and did some dips. Went up to 35 pounds. I had 25 pounds last time. I'm just going to keep trying to just be very slow with the progression and adding a little bit of weight, adding some reps, doing different things like that. As long as I am getting good work in, there's no reason to really jump up the weights too aggressively. I have done a lot more in the past, but I'm not really worried about that as long as my triceps are getting fatigued. Maybe more aggressive if they're not fatigued or if they're not sore from doing the workout. But if they are, definitely going to need to be more conservative with that. We'll see how that goes. I didn't bench again this week. I'm going to continue with the weighted dips and try to push those up, and then eventually do some bench press. I really will. I mean, it's not really directly benefiting the stuff I'm doing here, and I mean, obviously, my lifts went well this week, so I'm not too worried about it. But I definitely think it'd be something that will supplement my triceps if I'm doing some close grip bench press. And we'll see how that works, and if the dips start to get kind of irritating on my elbows or something like that, then I may make that adjustment. But for right now, or at least for this week, I didn't bench press, and I might next week, or I might just continue hitting the weighted dips hard, since I'm hitting lots of shoulders with all these movements, and the dips will hit my chest and triceps quite a bit. So it's not as if I'm not working those muscles I'm going to use in the bench press, and it's such a simple movement, the bench press, that I'm not really worried about the technique aspect of it going away and becoming difficult. Obviously, there are little things that can get used to pretty quick, but it's not like a squat or a deadlift or weightlifting movement where there's a lot more to think about. It's just pressing, and it's usually pretty straightforward. But I think that's really about it for this workout. Like I said, went extremely well, extremely happy, especially because I'm kind of sick still, and still was able to have these really good lifts. So I'm going to continue, hopefully, with the momentum from this workout into next week, adding some weight onto each exercise and trying to make small adjustments, like I mentioned, with the clean pulls on Monday instead of clean deadlifts, and just adding weight a little bit with the different exercises. And hopefully next week goes well like this week. I can't imagine I'm going to make 20-pound jumps like I was doing for the clean and jerks, and was it like a 35-pound jump for the snatch? If I did, that would be fantastic, but I'm not going to hold my breath for that. As long as I'm hitting good lifts and then making little jumps with the heavy single days, then I'll be happy, because it shows that I'm generally getting stronger. And I think that's actually something that's, even with 2 weeks, I'm seeing, at least with my legs, that everything's getting a little bit better, and hopefully that continues with my legs and with my shoulders. But that being said, I'm going to wrap this up here. I hope you're all having a good one, and I will talk to you all in the next one. Peace.